My dear friends, thank you so much for joining, or anybody who will see this video after it is being recorded. This workshop is not a health advice. This is for creation of awareness, education, self-control, prevention of diseases before they happen, and understanding the root causes, not necessarily the symptoms. Our body speaks to us every day at every moment, but we only listen when it starts shouting. Why do we ignore our body signals? First of all, most of us have never been taught to think that way. Also, we tend to suppress our symptoms, taking painkillers, over the counter medications, ignoring the stress signals. And our busy lives has made us disconnected from ourselves. What is important to know is that symptoms are not the problem. They are messages the body will give. In quantum and naturopathic medicine, human body is considered as an intelligent system. Signals are early warnings, and emotions are the system to connect our physical body to our entire energy system. Let's talk about some common body signals. One, what they mean. Example number one, I can talk about headaches. Most people think of it as a stress, but in a deeper way, it could mean a compromised circulation to the head, to the brain, because of old-time neck problem, spasm, pain, or shoulder stiffness, things like that. So physically, when blood vessels are compromised, blood flow cannot pass through and come back easily. So another idea about headache is mental pressure or being mentally overwhelmed. Sometimes there's a lot of toxicity and toxic element trapped in our body, and of course, dehydration. Another example is like fatigue. Most people think, I just need to take rest. But in a deeper meaning, fatigue could be a sign of internal imbalances, such as immune system imbalances, state of toxicity, and so on. Again, emotionally being overwhelmed, or energy depletion, either lack of nutrients or inability to absorb or utilize them properly. Also, hidden microbes could have a lot to do with that, something that is stuck in us and sucks our energy out. Another example of signals of the body could be anxiety. And many people may think this is only psychological, but to be honest with you, it could be a sign of nervous system imbalances. It could be an internal signals of fear. Fear is lack of safety and security. Any idea that it was the thought of not being safe, not being protected, could trigger that. And of course, some sort of disconnection from the body. So anxiety is not a weakness. It is our system calling that is out of harmony. A group of other signals that many people see it constantly is related to the digestive system, such as bloating, indigestion, flatulence. Maybe people again think, oh, I ate too much, but they could really be signs of enzyme deficiency, which enables us to digest the food properly, or the altered state of food which we consume, like genetically modified foods, which are nowadays almost everywhere. It could be a sign of sensitivities or intolerances, not necessarily allergies, something that comes in and is difficult for us to digest it properly. It could be a sign of nervous system imbalances because the entire gut is entangled heavily with the nervous system. It again could be due to hidden microbes, gut is a reservoir for trillions of bacteria in us. Some of them could become difficult for our body to handle, and they mostly reside within the gut and they could branch out to other places. It could be a sign of constant and ongoing stress, or again, being mentally overwhelmed. So, again, indigestion is not a state of disease, but a signal that something I put in, I take in, which cannot be digested either, is something related to food or maybe a thought, a condition around us. Another example of problems that body face as the signaling system could be related to skin, things like itching, like irritations, rashes. People may think, oh, itching is just some sort of skin problem, or eczema is a local issue. Actually, it's not. It could be a reaction to allergy sensitivity intolerances, or when the body is overwhelmed with the toxicity inside, the ones that cannot get mind, also toxicity in our mind as well. So toxic thoughts, toxic situation, a toxic partner, and so on. It could be a sign of nervous system imbalances, immune system imbalance, or again, stress. So, skin is a mirror of the body. Anything that happens inside, it shows out through the skin. So, it gives a signal that the body is overwhelmed with some sort of toxicity. Now, let's talk about the language of the body. I have divided this into two categories, some coming from the physical body, some coming from the energy system of the body. These talks are about for people who are supposedly not having any sort of solid disease state in them, ordinary people. Um, Even though they think they have a healthy lifestyle and try to eat well, they still not feel optimized. Let's talk about that. In order to understand the imbalances or what the body is saying, we should understand the norm first. Let's talk about some rules of the creation. Number one, the first fact is that creation is conscious along with anything that exists in it. In 1920s, the scientists were given a device which could throw one single electron at a time. This is famous for a double slit experiment. Immediately they realized that the electron appears upon the act of observation when scientists put a measuring device to see it. The moment that device was taken away, the electron disappeared. It was still there, but not as form of a bit of a matter. It became waves of possibilities. So act of observation affected the presentation of the electron as if the electron knew it was being watched. So they realized that creation is conscious. Um, so we are also a part of this consciousness. And that means that everything we do, including whatever action we take, is affecting not only us as an individual, but also the entire outcome of this magnificently large universe. Think about it. So you are important, you are precious to the creation. The second fact is that creation is based on laws and orders, mathematical laws and physical orders. You see a pattern which is called the Fibonacci sequence. If you look at flower formations, look at the center of the sunflower or any flower, the design, the shape. Look at, for example, a honeybee hive. How is it possible for that to be made by the bees? Or a seashell design. Structure of the trees, the stem, the branches, the twigs, the leaves, backside, front side. You see this sequence constantly everywhere. Even the proportion of our physical body is the same. And the formation of the universe is the same too. So we see this everywhere. The galaxies are all based on the same mathematical order of creation. So there is no randomness. So therefore, our body at the physical and non-physical level receives whatever it gives out. Anything that you broadcast is projected and you receive similar to that. So it's important to remain balanced in order to create a balanced life and a better balanced universe. Imagine you start sending right signals, positive ones, things that create more tranquility in your environment, a safer environment for yourself and everybody, or the opposite one, wrong signals, bad attitudes. For example, bad choices we make in our life, distorted behavior or habits. These things will push us out of the balance. So, health, therefore, should be the state of the balance. This is the definition of health and not necessarily the absence of diseases. If you are pushed out of the balance, that means a blockage has happened. Blockage means something that affects the free flow of energy within us. The 5,000-year history of acupuncture is based on correction of the blockage within the circulation of energy within the meridians. So blockages could be considered as predisposition to diseases. So another definition of health could be as follow. It is when there is ease in the flow. So what it means is that anytime we get stuck with something, we're going to have a problem. If this stagnation continues for too long, it creates a state of diseases, which will end up to a disease state. The third fact about the universe is that matter is governed by the energy it receives. So energy, which is information, creates shape and behavior in any matter, including our human body. For example, there is a lot of iron in our body. Anything looks red, including blood, liver, muscle tissue, and so on. There's iron in it. So when I say a joke and you laugh, everything in your body starts to feel better. The energy will change in every bit of atoms and molecules in you, including those irons. Now imagine I take some of the irons out of your body and I take it away from your energy system. After sometimes it turns into a black powder, perhaps. Now I make a joke and you laugh, but that pieces of iron which was taken out from you, they don't respond anymore. I do something that you become scared, you react. But again, those molecules that are taken out of your system remain in difference because they are out of your energy system. Now imagine I put this iron powder that I took from you on a sheet of paper, and I bring a magnet and I place the magnet underneath. What you see here is that suddenly all these particles align according to the information field of the magnet, which is influencing them. They create the shape that they're supposed to based on the information they receive. Now turn on the music and I start dancing with that iron underneath the paper. You see all the particles on the top start to move and dance with it. You see? Another example is that imagine you go to a party, a big party, everybody is invited. Imagine it's a beautiful beach house, huge, and your friend is the one who's actually invited, but he or she insists to take you along with, even though you're not invited. You may say, but I'm hungry, I want to go home and eat something. She says, there's going to be every food available. Let's go there. This is a great time for us to meet some amazing new people. Anyways, at the end, you agree to go along with her. She rings the bell. A lady who's the host, she opens the door, well dressed, a glass of juice in her hand. She looks at you without saying any single word, with a smile on her face. She leaves the door open, goes back inside. What do? The sound of the music is amazing. The smell of food is incredible. So you take a look inside, wow, what a place. You go in, you find the spot, you sit down, you feel comfortable, you start talking to some people, you eat some stuff, some of the food, you start to dance, you start to make amazing friends that night, a great night experience for you. Yeah, this is scenario number one. I'll give you another scenario. Imagine you and your friend go and she rings the bell, and the lady, it's the same lady, well dressed with a glass of juice, comes. She opens the door, but this time she looks at you with a frown on her face. Again, no single word exchange, nothing, just a look. The first one was a smile, the second one is a frown on her forehead. She turns back inside, leaves the door open. What do you do now? Can you go inside? Can you sit? Can you eat? If I check your blood pressure, your heart rate, your breathing rate, and a lot of every other biochemical test in your blood, is anything similar in you between scenario one and two? The answer is no. Even the sweat on your skin will have a different composition. What happened? She didn't even touch you. And information came in, energy came in, and it was downloaded, and your brain produced the same biochemical compounds related to that feeling or perception. And bang, now you have a different body function. To see more, you can go on YouTube and search for the word cymatics. See how sound waves will create sacred geometrical shape when sand is put on a flat plate on the top of the speaker, for example. Let's talk again about the human signals, human body signals. The body is an advanced mechanical system. Like every other advanced mechanical machine, it requires fuel so that the energy is extracted, and that energy could run the system efficiently. And at the end, it has to be maintained and cleaned up properly. Now, the food is our energy. So we consume the food, but when the food comes in, it has to be digested, broken out to one single molecule so that it could be absorbed. This is how these food molecules could reach to our cells, enter the cells, mix with oxygen, and burn to release the energy. At least this is what the human physiology at medical schools say. Okay, and at the end, the body has to clean up its system. So we are looking at digestion, absorption, and detoxification. The energy that is extracted is going to be sent everywhere to our system to support growth and development, to help us to do every form of function within us, and of course, to repair. Yeah? Now, at the end, the body has to clean up this waste. So it has its cleaning system, the byproducts of the combustion, and it has to be efficient so the system remains clean at all the time. So far, we saw digestion, absorption, detoxification. Now, these systems of the body need another higher functioning system to control them so they work in harmony with each other. This is where our brain, which is the CPU of the body, and the nervous system, the wiring will come to exchange the information, bring them in, send them out, not only to every cell and tissue in our body, but also to dictate how fast or slow every part should go to keep this balance. It's called homeostasis. This is the job of the brain and the nervous system. Now, imagine during this process, suddenly unwanted stuff come in. Could be microbes, could be undigestible items, could be a biochemical or a chemical toxic or a compound which is not healthy for us, could be a microbe. Now we are privileged to have an amazing immune system which is like very trained and advanced police and military system watching over everything. Their primary job is to recognize self from non-self. So anything which is not mine could not exist in me. Anything which is harmful should be eliminated quickly and fast. You should know that about 80 to 85% of the immune system is entangled throughout the lumen of our digestive system. They work together hand in hand. So these all together work in order to create the initial balance in us, the minimum balance that we need to stay alive and go on and conduct as usual tasks. Anyways, now imagine a glitch suddenly happens in any one of these systems. So we're going to be in trouble because there's going to be a blockage in our healthy flow of life. Remember, we defined before health as ease in the flow of life. Something could come in and not to be cleared properly by any one of these systems is going to cause a trouble for us. Now, imagine we eat something that we cannot digest, not necessarily allergy. Something happened to the food, like GMO food, which is difficult now for our body to be recognized as food at the molecular level. This causes sensitivity or maybe intolerances. First, we cannot digest it anymore. If we cannot digest it anymore, then we cannot absorb the nutrients anymore. And the remaining will become toxic to us. It will pass through the lumen of the digestive system, undigested. And now the problem is that it becomes food for the microbes that live inside our gut. These microbes are friendly. We can never have a healthy life without having these good microbes. But these microbes are friendly when there is no more food left around them, because normally when we eat food, before it reaches to the first half of the digestive system, let's say the first half of, let's say, the small intestine, it should be digested and absorbed. If it's not digested, it will pass through the lumen, becomes food for these bacteria. Now they have to leave, they will leave their essential position and they become scavenger. When they become scavenger, I sometimes give an example, like they become Dracula, they develop the Dracula tooth and they become harmful to us and they attack ourselves, they attack each other. So they will produce more and more imbalances in us. We call this dysbiosis. Bad microbes grow in us. Bad smell, from the mouth, bad smell from the stool, especially in children or so many adults who have trouble with their digestive system is a good example of that. Now, all of these things are against our natural health and flow. Now, in this scenario, the bad microbe starts to grow, excessive amount of toxicity starts to build up, and the vacuum action of the intestine, which is constantly sucking things in, will absorb a lot of these toxins. It will overwhelm the detoxification system, which liver is the most important organ of it, cleaning the blood. So the toxins spread all over the blood, and the fluid going out of the blood, this fluid is supposed to go surrounding the cells, bringing nutrients and water and oxygen and food and removing the garbage. It becomes dirty. And therefore, none of the cells in our body could ever feel happy swimming in dirty water around them. So we become energy insufficient. We become tired. Our skin becomes dull, and we get bloated, and many other issues will happen. It is more than that. Inflammation starts to happen, and it grows. Anytime there is a lot of inflammation, the tissue starts to accumulate water in it because the inflammation causes the tissue to swell up. Imagine you hit your skin hard. After a minute, you see it is raised, it is warm, and it is red. These are the three signs of inflammation. Raised means there's a lot of fluid out of the capillaries. That will increase pressure inside the tissue. When there's too much pressure, circulation can no longer freely move. It becomes compromised. So it puts pressure on the cardiovascular system and the lymphatic system as well. And as I said, skin will show it very immediately. Skin is the largest excreting organ. So when there is too much toxicity left or trapped in the body, this is pushed towards the skin. This is where itching and eczema and irritations of skin happens. Now, because the body goes through stress at this moment, things are out of control. The adrenal system, which is the defense against the stress, become more activated than before. As a result, it disturbs the hormone balance in us because adrenal glands are connected to two major systems in us. One is the nervous system, the other one is the hormone system. So when there is a lot of excretion of cortisol or other stress hormones in us, hormone systems will be disturbed. So think about women with hormone problems And very easily you'll find major source of stress, even if they don't remember or they are not aware of it. We'll talk about this a bit later. This also will disturb our restful sleep at night because we can't relax anymore. Our brain can no longer produce the neurotransmitters related to relaxation and sleep, and the hormones are out of the balance, will further trigger more problems. Now, our body at this moment starts to become more acidic. Health is when everything is alkaline. All these good microbes are healthy because the internal environment of the body is alkaline. When it shifts towards acidity, now it develops pathogenic microbes which could harm us. When the body is acidic, tissue starts to erode. You could drop a piece of chicken bone in a glass of Coca-Cola and then it will be dissolved because it is acidic, and acid will dissolve bones. So think about what will happen inside our body. So we start losing lean tissue. This is premature aging. Now, there's more and more cortisol being produced. Now it means accumulation of fat in our body, the fat that could never go out. The fat covers around the organs, especially around the belly, and it drags our energy further down. Immune system will be more and more compromised because now in the acidic environment, every microbe can grow. Even the ones who used to be nothing, now they become something really difficult for us. At the same time, people start losing the ability to concentrate. They can no longer plan, and they become forgetfulness about especially short-term memories because during the stress time, which is fight or flight, we don't receive enough blood to the cortex, the top layer of the brain where the fine actions are designed. The blood will accumulate around the stem of the brain where reflexes are located. Remember, it's fight or flight. So at the same time, also, blood is pulled out of the viscera and is diverted into arms or leg to support this fighting or running away as quickly as possible because now there's a danger to fight. And that means less circulation to the gut. This means less enzymes and hormone and other stuff which is necessary to be produced to conduct a healthy digestion. So we constantly lose our digestive power. And as you can see, this is a vicious circle. It goes on and on and on, and it triggers a lot of premature aging factors constantly in us, from microbes to nutritional deficiency to toxicity to oxidative stress, and you name it. Now, let's move on to the part two, the signals which come not just from the body, from the information system of the body. Earlier, I mentioned that energy governs formation of matter and also the shape and the action it produces or the behavior it shows. And our human body is nothing beyond that. Um, you know that, like everything else in the universe, our body is also made of atoms. If you look at the atoms, they are made of different components, electrical components in them, like electrons with negative charge, protons with positive charge, neutrons inside the nucleus of these um, atoms, and they're constantly moving around each other. So therefore, they have vibration. This action of rotating and movement creates constant energy projection out of every atom. You could hear a sound of your son and then a sound of your younger son, older and younger. Immediately you know that whose sound belong to, because the frequency is unique. It's like your fingerprint. We can listen to the sound of atoms of, let's say, copper. It is different than the sound that is produced by gold or any other element. So these are signatures of energy. So the body is made of atoms. Atoms are producing constantly energy. We look at electromagnetic energy, like electrocardiograms, electroencephalograms, electromyograms. They measure these electricity in our body. Even every cell, because of the membrane, when the ions go back and forth, they produce electromagnetic field of energy. So we call it transmembrane potential. In addition to that electromagnetic field. Now we have also magnetic field, which comes at the plasmatic level. So beyond the matter, plasma is the fourth state of matter, they say, but it's actually the energy system that is supposed to turn into matter. It comes in many different layers as well. This is about nano technology, single atoms detached. It happens inside our body a lot. So the body produces magnetic, electromagnetic, and plasmatic magnetic energy constantly. Again, because matter follows the information, and order we receive these information in order to implement to how our body reacts. So these energy systems are very important to produce a state of health in us or predispose us to difficulties in future, including who you can be, what you can achieve. This is all within your energy system. If you look at Kirlian photography online, invented by Russian scientists, they expose your body to a certain magnetic vibration, and they make the invisible light around you this time visible. You could see your aura. You could see millions of these pictures online. They take it from any living entity. Uh, the aura that we have, the chakra system that a lot of holistic practitioners talk about it, but medical doctors cannot believe it because they cannot see it with naked eyes or measure it with any component they have in the laboratory. They cannot accept it. You could see it there. The chakra system are there to absorb the feeling, the, let's say, emotions, and implement it to specific organs throughout our body, mostly located um, alongside our spine, and they affect specific organs at a time. This is how acupuncture meridians could be measured too. So constantly energy is being produced, and energy is an inevitable part of any matter, including us. What we think, what we believe, they all are very, very important factors affecting our health and what we could be. This is the state of mind, the thoughts, the belief, the perceptions. So we have the physical body, we have layers of energy around it. We have the emotions. You get angry, it affects your liver. You get suddenly terrified, you could pee in your pants. You get depressed, it affects your heart. Yeah, and so on. You get worried, you may develop diarrhea. You see, energy, information affects the matter. Every frequency affects its own target as well. So the choices we have in our life are very, very important to determine the quality of life, our life, including predisposition or susceptibility to diseases. So watch out what you think about or what thoughts are constantly being processed in your mind. And also, our intention could be recorded. You see, if you look at the work of the scientist Masaru Emoto, he recorded the energy of the thought of a person on a sample of water, and the water changes crystal instantly. If you look at the work of a scientist, a polygram specialist back in early 1960s, Cliff Baxter, he measured the electrical signals of plants, and he realized that plants could read his intention. If he wanted to water the plant or cut off a leaf or burn it, it reacted to it. And then later on, he measured the frequency and light and vibration of food in the fridge. So when you walk into your apartment, your home, and you're angry, everything will react. Or when you're happy and satisfied or calm, again in the same way, but opposite action or reaction. So next time when you're depressed, when you're disappointed, when you're frightened, or if you deep inside believe that you are not loved, you've been abandoned, nobody cares for you, you better think again. It's important to understand that you are a very important part of this creation, as I mentioned earlier, and I proved it to you. Every thought, every action, each one of us do is changing the outcome of this entire universe inevitably. This is a mathematical mind. This is the truth about our universe, and we all affect that. Or you become aware of it, then you could ask for ways how to compensate with that, how to make it better, how to change it. So if we can keep the state of balance in us, not balance in what we eat, not balance in how we eat, balance in our regular lifestyle a little bit better than before, balance in the emotions and the feeling we experience, balance in the state of mind, the thoughts that come constantly to our mind, then we could definitely be a healthy person as easy as that's guaranteed. Not only that, we could become more resilient to diseases in future. You will become more conscious. When you're more conscious, you produce more light. Now, I am going to give you a bit of a conclusion with our talks. First of all, as you saw, it is important to be aware of the signals our body is giving. If something is happening to us and is keep repeating itself, we need to pay attention to it. Perhaps we need to ask for help. We need to seek for others who could help us with this. There's something about them which body is sending them out, asking for us to pay attention. Something is out of the balance. It's important for us not to ignore how we feel. Sometimes we swallow our feelings, we don't express them. Maybe we don't want to hurt other people, but we don't understand that by keeping difficult feelings in us, we actually swallow some sort of undigestible item, even though it wasn't in a form of food, but it came into our system, into our body, and it got trapped. It would create blockages, and it will project itself within the digestive system as something which could not be digested. So think about everything that we just mentioned. The toxic level will rise, the immune system will be compromised, stress level will be activated, and more than before. And as a result, we go through deficiency of life. We become predisposed to premature aging and diseases. It's very important for us, therefore, to create a bit of a balance in our actions. Usually, we should ask one question, regardless of whatever I believe, any religious system, any prayer that I do, any job that I have, whoever that I am, one single question, each one of us from ourselves. Is my action in total create a better balance in me, in my life or not? That's all. I could believe in God, but lie to my customers, give them something which is not what I say it is. I could go and pray, but I'm very ugly at home. I shout, I scream. My family is scared of me, or anything else. Am I making a better balance in my life or not? Ask this question, because if yes, then not only you create a healthy living and a healthy future for yourself, but also you create a healthier family, a healthier society, a healthier planet. This is what you're here for. This is the state of consciousness. When we are better balanced, when we create positivity, we start to enlighten. Now, everybody who believes in the concept of God, they know that God is the state of light. If God is the state of light, where is the devil? The shaitan is the exact opposite way. That means the ultimate darkness. Am I creating more light or less? Less means more darkness. So think about it. And what's important to know is that we are souls experiencing this physical life in a body, not the opposite way around. And I just proved that to you earlier. Not only that, the souls today could be measured through means of plasma physics, because they can pick up the vibration of the plasmatic magnetic of the soul. So they see it now. It's 100% science. So again, we are souls experiencing this life in a physical body, and therefore we are here for higher purposes. Find out what your purpose of life is. It's not about just making money and having a good life and fun, driving a better car, living a more luxurious life. Find out who you are, what you are here for, what is the purpose of your life, because ultimately we are here to serve, not necessarily to be served. If any one of us could reach to that level of understanding, then there is a better chance for our soul to jump when we release this physical machine. And then we no longer need to come back and go through difficulties as we have experienced. Although every bit of life is a privilege. I'm privileged to be alive in this life, even though every one of us face their own difficulties. So I'm not going to overwhelm you with more complicated information. I try to make this presentation hopefully as easy as it is possible for every one of you guys to understand. This is the first time that I do this live, and I'm learning how to do this. So hopefully I can do more. And because of the timing, most of the people who contacted me, because of the work obligations, they unfortunately were not able to come, but I'll try to record this so that it becomes available to others who may come later on and would like to watch. If you have any questions, you can send it to me as messages. I will definitely look at them. I will consider them and I'll try to answer them in the next session that we get together. If you have any suggestion about how to perform and how to conduct these lives from now on in a more meaningful way, in a way that you could benefit more from it, just write it in a comment. I will definitely consider that. And maybe in future, we'll shift it to the afternoon time or the evening time. So when you guys are in the comfort of your home, you could do this. So thank you so much for your time, for coming in, and for taking time to watch this. And I will hope you very, very soon later. All the best.